Hello, everybody. Dr. Rick Wallace dropping in on you on Mindful Tuesday. Dropping in, hopefully, to share something with you that can literally help you change or improve your situation no matter where you're at. I'm going to get into it real quickly, but first, I just want to remind you guys that we're still doing the digital business masterclass. If you want to learn more about it, there's a short paragraph in the post description box that will explain it. And if you want more information and to enroll, you can email me directly. You can't go on the site and get this. This is something that I'm doing one-on-one with individuals who are really serious about starting an online digital business. A couple of things about this I want to explain to you. It is going to tie into what I'm going to talk to you about this morning. I've had a lot of people email me about the business opportunity to take the business masterclass. And what it is, it's a one-on-one. It's not a webinar. It's not some kind of conference or class, digital classroom or physical classroom that you're going to sit in and share with others. This is going to be your space, your time with yours truly. And we're going to look at your strengths, your passions, the things you love to do, the things you're good at, and determine what would be a good entry point into digital business. Now, this doesn't have to be your passion, your lifelong thing that you're going to do the rest of your life. This just has to be something that you can do without using a lot of your time, but be committed to the process and create some passive revenue. And as long as you make more money than you put into it, you have created a successful endeavor. Now, you want it to have a level of success. We define what that is for you. Not just going into profit, but going into profit at a certain level that can be measured against the amount of time you have to put into it. That's fine. We're going to do all of this, and it's going to be customized to who you are. That's extremely important in business. Very few people get that. We got a lot of copycats, a lot of Xeroxes, a lot of people doing what everybody else is doing and having to compete for every freaking dime because you're not using your uniqueness. I teach you the importance of that. But the reason I'm bringing this up is I get a lot of people who have emailed me, because you have to email me to get the information, because it's not on the site. It's not something I put up. It's something I want to be involved in from the moment a person says that they're interested, because I'm kind of doing my own internal study of responses in different groups. And a specific group, which I will not identify in discussing this, but a specific group shows up and says they're interested. And when I send them the information, which includes the price, which, by the way, is $5.99, which, by the way, if you do anything that you love doing that has a market for it and you put in the work, you'll earn back. I mean, it's out there. The work is out there. The money's out there. Everybody's online spending their money. The thing is, you have to find where you help people, not convince people, not sell people, but help people. When you help people and you provide a solution to something that they are dealing with, it's there. You've just got to be consistent. You've got to be real, and helping people has to be at the top of your priority list. And so my thing is, there's a vast majority of this particular group that once they get that, not only do they not move forward, which is fine. Everybody's not ready. And again, I'm not about selling, so you don't get hard sales from me. I tell you what I can do. If you really want to do it, we will get it done. I have over a 98.7 success rate in dealing with what I do at the Visionetics Institute on every level. I handle my business, and I'm confident. And if I tell you I can get it done, we're going to get it done. But my thing is, I understand not everybody's ready. That's why I don't work with everybody. People will tell you, they've come to me money in hand, and I've said no, because I knew that they weren't going to see it through, but they were going to go around telling people they worked with me. And people are going to look at them and say, well, you didn't look like you got much out of it. And they're not going to say I quit, or I didn't show up, or I didn't do what it took to get the job done. They're just going to say, yeah. And so people are going to say, that's what happens. No, I want people, all you got to have to work with me is the willingness to invest in yourself and a commitment to see it through. I promise you, we're going to get there. There are clients that'll tell you that, you know, they decided to work with me for 12 weeks or 6 months or a year. I have clients, matter of fact, I have more clients coming in working with me for a year now than I do on the shorter term packages. And they'll tell you, whatever package they got, when we got there, we had a discussion. Are we satisfied? Did we get what we were going for? If not, we're going to continue on my dime. We're going to get this. You know, that's a part of being committed to getting the job done. Now, how many times do I have to go over it? Not often, but it's not a problem because I'm invested not just in getting your money, but I'm invested in getting you to where you want to go, more than getting your money, because I already have it. I had it from day one. And so now I could easily get to the end and say, well, we got it done and we did this and come on. No, are you satisfied? Do you think we hit it on the nail? Do you think we got above and beyond? No. What is it that you feel you need to get to be satisfied? Let's make it happen. You know, that way everybody's in. Number one is, if you've rode with me that long, you're invested. I'm invested. We're going to get it done. But the thing is, you know, my whole thing is what I'm trying to get at too, and I'm about to roll right into what I want to talk to you about. Yeah, there are the links for the book in there. There's a link for the free breakthrough session, free 30-minute breakthrough session. There's the form and that'll fill out and email in if you want to do that. I'm surprised more people aren't taking advantage of that. I get a number of people doing it, but you know, 30 minutes, no cost to you. Let's go after something you want to do and see what we can come up with. 30 minutes. And a lot of times it goes over, and that's on me, no charge. But let's move into this thing. Let's talk. Mindful Tuesday. I say this so many times that I'm pretty sure people get tired of hearing it, but that's my point. And that's the reason I do it, is because I want it to be so inculcated into your mind that it's just a part of your thought processes. You can have the best business plan in the world. You can come up with all the strategy. You can have all the marketing analytics and metrics and everything to know everything you need to know about your target audience and how the market operates. You have all the customer intel you want. You can have all of that expertise and have it all lined up just ideally. But if your mindset isn't where it needs to be, you're going to have a problem. I say this all the time. Success in life, not just in business, but success in life is 80% psychology. What are you thinking at the moment? How are you going to view this challenge? What perception of what you're doing and facing do you have? Because that's going to dictate your state. That's going to dictate how you approach things. Are you approaching things based on your thinking as a victim or a warrior? Just simplify it. Are you a victim or are you a warrior? Are you looking at everything that happens in your life and say, life is happening to me? Life is happening to me. That happened to me. Are you looking at it and saying, life is responding to me? When you change from letting life happen to you to forcing life to respond to you, you're not going to get rid of all of the struggles and the difficulty and all that. That's part of life. But how you engage it is going to be immensely different than when you are sitting up, huddled over in a corner, just hoping you don't get knocked down today. You got to go out and say, I might get knocked down today, but if I get knocked down, I'm going to get up. I'm going to dust myself off. I'm going to stand up and I'm going to move forward. I am not going to be a victim of my circumstances. I'm not going to be a victim of other people's idea of what my reality should be. I'm not going to be a victim of other people's low expectations. I am going to set a standard of performance, a standard of expectation, a standard of being that will allow me to go out in life and attack my destiny and approach and go into my destiny. I know I'm going to have some difficult moments, but when I get knocked down, I'm going to get up. When I get knocked down, I'm going to stand. When I get knocked down, I'm going to gather myself. I am going to be the captain of my ship. And that's important. But one mindset that I want you to develop, is a mindset of finishing. One of the things that I see when I observe and I observe everything around me, and I take a panoramic view of people that I have access to, whether it be in social media, whether it be in some organization, whether it be at the cigar shop or wherever. When I observe, I'm paying attention to everything that's going on around me. It's a part of me. I just do. And one of the things I look at and I see, and I say, this is a big issue, and it's people don't finish. People are deterred from finishing by all types of different events and stimuli and situations and circumstances that force them back. I had a young brother that I've known for a while that, I'm proud to know. And one day he posted something and I loved it. It said, if you want to stop starting over, stop quitting. If you're tired of starting over, stop quitting. And it's huge. What is the problem? People don't go the distance. It's not about who you know. It's not about how much you have. It's not about how smart you are. It's not about the number of degrees on your wall or any other the number of things that people think you've got to have. At the end of the day, having those things can play a major role in how you maneuver. Knowing somebody can be the difference in cutting 4 to 5 months off of a window of execution where you need to get something done. All of that has a place. I'll be honest with you. Most of what I do, I taught myself. I learned the basics through academics, and I got pieces of paper to say that I took on the basics, even in advanced studies, in the doctorates. That's just learning how to learn, how to go out and research, how to find the answers to the enigmatic problems that drive you, that you want to be a part of solving. That's what it's really about. You got to still go out there and find that stuff. You got to still go out there. You'll know the basics, but you'll find that as you evolve as a person in learning, what you thought you knew you didn't know, and you're going to have to relearn. And that's the new literacy. I can't remember the name, but a very profound person said at the turn of the century that in the past, illiteracy has meant the inability, literacy has meant the ability to read and write and reason. And now moving into the new century, those who are literate will be those who are able to learn, unlearn, and relearn. If you don't have that capacity, you're going to have problems in an environment in which things that worked yesterday will not work tomorrow. That's the evolution of technology. That's the evolution of changing the way we engage one another. And if those who are still trying to use marketing concepts that worked in the 90s are suffering masterfully, because that's not how marketing works anymore. It's totally evolved. There's an entire revolution in the marketing industry that's taking place because of technology. And I'm not going to get off into all of that right now, but you have to understand that, right? Okay. So my whole thing is, what I'm trying to get you to understand is, you can have all that stuff, the plaques on the wall, the certificates, the diplomas, the degrees, and certifications, and everything else that says you done learned from whoever, and it will get you to a certain point. But what will get you to where you're going is a mindset that says, I will not quit. What I start, I will finish. I am going the distance. It is always about the distance you're willing to go to achieve the things that you say you want to achieve. You have to develop in your mind this willingness that says, no surrender, no retreat. I will not quit. I will not give up. I will not back up. I will not fold. I am committed to the cause, to the point that the only thing that will stop me is death. You've heard me say this many times, and it may sound cliche-ish, it may sound a little bit over the top, but it's my mindset. It's real simple. When I make up in my mind that I'm going to go after something, I'm going to get it, or I'm going to die trying. I'm never going to quit on it. I'm never going to give up. I've seen too many people miss out on amazing situations, opportunities, miracles, blessings, whatever you want to call them, because they quit before the breakthrough. And that's what you're working toward. Anything worth having is going to come with a challenge. And your responsibility is to take on the challenge. Your responsibility is to walk out there and establish in your mindset that I'm going to walk into this no matter what happens. I'm not going to give up. I am going to totally walk into this. There are going to be some ups and some downs. There are going to be some setbacks. There are going to be some delays. There are going to be some disappointments. There are going to be some frustrations. There are going to be some long nights. There are going to be some times where I'm looking at myself and wondering, what were you thinking even getting into this? But I'm in it now, and I'm going to fight through it. I'm going to push through it. I've come too far to turn around. I've come too far to give up. And I could be right at the point of breakthrough. Every one of us have seen that meme where the guy has the axe pick and he's picking and he's picking and he's picking and he's picking and he's picked 100 yards and he's literally 6 inches from the diamond, throws his hands up, throws the pick down and says, I've wasted my time. My thing is, when you commit to something and you see the value in it, you've got to be willing to go the distance, because there's something that comes out of finishing what you start. We get deterred by delay, we quit. We get deterred by the fact that people are talking behind our backs and demeaning us, and we quit. We get frustrated with ups and downs and the ins and outs, the ebbs and the flows that are just simply a part of life, and we quit. What am I? I'm saying, when you make up. Now, my thing is, he's saying, well, how do you do this? Number one is, I don't go after everything. When I say I make up in my mind I'm going after something, that's something that means enough to me, because one of the qualifications is I'm going to ask myself, am I willing to spend the rest of my life chasing this? Because that's my mindset. I'm going to go get it, or I'm going to die trying. I'm going to get it, or I'm going to die trying. It's not going to be, well, I put 5 years in and nothing happened. I gave it a good shot. No. See, I understand the power of the universal redemptive process, that when you invest in something worthwhile and you spend time in it that seems to rob you of a part of your life, when you are committed to it and you finish what you started, it's like time is redemptive. It's not like you go back and you're back at whatever age you started, but it's like you're refreshed, you're whole. You've had vital years added back to your life on the back end. You know, you're 80 and 90 years old and you're still full of life. You're still thriving. You're still doing business. You're still traveling. You're still doing it. Why? Because 30 years ago, you gave 6 years, 7 years, 8 years of your life to pursuing something that people told you to quit on in the second year, and you wouldn't, and it didn't make sense to anybody because they couldn't see it, but they weren't living inside of your vision. They weren't walking in your purpose. They weren't in the line with God's will for your life and in your design, what that meant for you. And so you finally got there. You got to think. I'll give you a prime example. The reports say that Warren Buffett earned 99% of his current wealth after the age of 50. So what that means is all the work that he was putting in, and it looked good for a minute and it kind of fell off, and all the things he did to put himself in the right position took him his adult life to 50 years old before it kicked into overdrive. But if you watch Warren Buffett in his mid to late 80s now sit on stage and talk, you still see the light in his eyes, the passion in his eye. He hasn't lost his years. He's still living because he stayed with it. He didn't quit. A bunch of you are out there and you haven't gotten any traction because you keep starting over. Anchor yourself, commit yourself, invest in yourself, and go out and make it happen. Get up. Stop waiting around for somebody to do it for you. Stop waiting around for somebody to make it happen. Stop thinking somebody's going to come along and rescue you. Stop thinking somebody's going to come along and discover you. Put yourself out there. Get out there. Yes, it's risky when you get out there. People might laugh at you. People might talk about you. You're probably going to be told no way more than you're told yes. That's okay. Those yeses are going to be huge, and they're going to build something, and they're going to open the doors, and that's what you're going to walk with and build on, and to the point where you can get where you're opening doors on your own, but you've got to stay with it. You've got to go the distance. Again, I'm going to get off of here. There's so much that I've got to do. There's so much that's happening that needs to be taken care of. There's a lot going on. But I had to drop in this morning on Mindful Tuesday and share this with you. Again, get it here. I tell people all the time, and I know if you've listened to me and followed me, you've heard me say this numerous times. It's not my intellect. It's not my talent. It's not my experience. At the end of the day, all those things work for me because of one thing. I'm relentless. I'm not going to quit. You're not going to hit me hard enough to stop me. The only way that I am going to stop is when I take my last breath. I mean, I went through, I'm going to share this with you and then I'm out. In 2000, it's the end of 2016, October 1st, I had a catastrophic medical situation where I was sitting up, I was in Starbucks working that day. And I had a whole little setup. When I go in and set up and work, I got a whole little station, a couple of laptops, and everything else that goes along with it. I take my office with me, everything except for the desktop. And I'm sitting there and I'm opening emails. I'm trying to check emails. And as I read the emails, I can read the first 3 to 4 or 5 words or half the line. But the second half of the line is totally blurred. And no matter what line I look at, that's happening. And I'm like, what the, and I'm looking. So then I say, okay, something's wrong with the computer. So then I look up at the order board in Starbucks and it's doing it on the order board. I look across the street and there's a Chase Bank, but all I can see is the CHA in part of the S, and then everything else is blurred. I'm going like, okay, something's wrong. The next thing I remember, I'm waking up on a gurney being rolled into an emergency room, blood flowing out of my mouth, and my shoulders were on fire. And I'm like, what in the world is going on? I'm trying to figure out what happened because I don't remember it. And I'm like, what happened? What's going on? I'm asking them. And why is my shoulders hurting so much? And then I'm thinking in my mind's starting to run, what could cause this kind of damage? And I not remember. I'm thinking, did somebody blow up Starbucks? And I'm thinking like that, what else could have happened? And then the nurse came into the little room they rolled me into, and she said, you had a seizure. And I'm saying, well, why is my shoulders hurting? She said that, if you have a muscular build and you have an intense seizure, that the muscles will contract so hard that it will literally pull your arms out of socket. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Both arms completely dislocated. I fell because when the seizure started, I stood up and started to walk and then fell on a sign that they had in Starbucks, broke my upper arm, and the blood that was gushing out of my mouth that really had me thinking somebody blew something up was when I started having the seizure. I literally bit through my tongue in 4 places, 4 holes completely through my tongue. And so it's never went completely down. And if you watch me, you can tell when I talk. It healed, but you can still look at it, and it never narrowed back down. So I have to be very careful when I'm chewing. And this was, like I said, in 2016 in October. It's coming up on 3 years. But at that moment, the damage with this shoulder and the arm that was broken right here, which is, to break this right here, it takes a lot of force. This is like, but anyway, that caused nerve damage where these 2 fingers, this finger you couldn't even move, These two fingers were extremely numb and you could barely move. And so I work in front of a computer a predominant time. I'm a writer. I'm an author. I do content procurement. I type a lot. And now I got a hand that I can't use. I can't even dress myself. My wife had to dress me. My wife had to bathe me. And I gave her the business because I was so frustrated with being at that level of not being able to do for myself. And I gave her the business. And, I'm thankful that I came to my senses and I did, it wasn't an elongated issue, but I was just not in a good place. But what I did do, I was in ICU for 4 days, then in critical care for another day or two. Then I was released home. The day I was released home, I came home in a freaking gown, hospital gown. Got out the car, came in, and baby set me up in the bed. And we are literally a month and a half away from our wedding. And I can't do anything. And I'm laying there and I'm in this pain that I can't even explain. Excruciating. If you ever had a dislocated shoulder, imagine one that's just completely ripped out. I'm telling you, it wasn't any fun. Then, like I said, the broken arm, and I got bruises on my arm from just the trauma. And then I'm sitting there, and the next morning, the alarm clock, which is always set for, I think at that time it was either 4:30 or 5. It's, normally around that time. It's 4:30 now, so it may have been 5 then. Anyway, I get up, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't put my clothes on because I'm in this gown, but I got to get dressed. And she's like, where are you going? I said, I'm going to my office, and I'm gonna get something. I don't know what, but I'm getting something done. I'm not gonna stay here. And I did that every day. It took me till July of 17 to be able to do air push-ups and to drive. I couldn't even drive because I couldn't reflect. I couldn't react to anything. I could sit up hold, but if anything had to happen, well, I had to do something quick. It was going to be a problem. And so, I mean, what I'm trying to get at is I showed up in this office every morning, pecking with one hand, dictating to any kind of voice activated typing software I could find. I just refused to be backed down by that moment. And the more that I took it on, the less hostile and volatile I was. I wasn't cussing or yelling at my wife. I'd never do that. But it would be snap, like, do you want me to help with that? No, I got it. Stuff like that. And then I realized she's here to help you. That's what it's for. You're not going through this life alone, Rick. Let her help you. And we got close during that time because I really had to depend on her. It was good as long as, I was telling her to lean into me. But when I had to lean into her, it was like, wait, whoa. Then I learned, hey, this goes both ways, and it's okay. You as a man, you don't have to carry everything. You just got to be consistent. And I'm saying all this to you to say this. If you're still breathing, you're still in the fight. Don't let life circumstances destroy you. Don't let life circumstances shake you up so much that you fold. There's some time I can look back and there are numerous times I could have folded. And actually, most people in my life would have said, okay, I can understand. But I couldn't. I couldn't understand. I couldn't justify folding. And I'm daring you to take on the mindset of being relentless in what you pursue. I don't care what it is. Believe in it to the end of the earth. Believe in it, and then go after it. Go after it. And here's the thing: you're going to have some disruptions. You're going to get hit. You are going to get hit. Get up, dust yourself out, square your shoulders, hold your head up, and get back in there. That's the way you're going to win in this life. Not by circumventing the struggles, not by finding an easy win. It's going to be by finishing what you start. It's that simple. I thank God for my wife. By far my greatest blessing, my greatest accomplishment, and I'm not going to talk about it too much, but that alone didn't come overnight. That was 12 freaking years in the making. I mean, to know exactly what it is you want, to say, okay, I'm not going to fail at this thing again. So I got to know what I want. And then realizing when you figure out what you want, that you ain't ready for it yet. Yeah, when I stood up and I said, wait a minute, this is what I want. I'm not just going for somebody that's nice. I'm not just going for somebody that's beautiful. I'm not just going for somebody I like. I want this in a wife. Then I say, well, okay, if that shows up, will I be the person I need to be to hold it? Say, no, Rick, you got some things about you need to work on. You're the common denominator in this whole thing. You know, ain't nobody been around in these other relationships but you. Everything else was different. It's you. You're going to have to work on you. And I did. And when I got to the point of working on me, she shows up. But she shows up as a client. And I'm okay, I don't mix business with pleasure. So I had to work at this woman that I'm clearly looking at and going, this is my wife. But I can't say that because she's a client. So we worked together for almost a year. She goes her way, I go my way. All of a sudden, 2015, she shows back up in April. In May, I tell her she's going to be my wife. Never went on a date. Our first date was after we were married. Just knowing what I wanted so clearly and so badly that when I saw it, I knew it. I'm telling you, this visional thing, this whole thing that I created, Visionetics, it comes from an understanding of creating visions that are so clear that when you see it, you recognize it and you keep moving. It's so clear that when you can't find any reason or justification or in your current situation, you look into the vision and you look ahead and see what's waiting on you on the other side of that struggle. What's waiting on the other side of fear? What's waiting on the other side of pain? What's waiting on the other side of delay? It's everything that I've ever wanted, and I'm going to fight for it until I have it all or I die. And in the process, helping people. Everything that I build is about helping people. Make it happen. That's it. I'm going to get out of here. As I always say, live your lives on full and die on E. Everything else will take care of itself. On that note, I'm out.